Good morning, children. This is video part 2 of lesson number 9, verbs, finite and non-finite. Let's check how much have we learned so far about finite and non-finite verbs. Now, before solving this exercise, let's recollect. Finite verbs are those which change according to the number and person of the subject and also the tenses. Whereas non-finite verbs are those which remain unchanged, whether the number changes or the person of the subject changes or the tense of the sentence changes, they remain unchanged. Okay. Now let's do the first one. The first sentence is he is learning to swim. Now let us underline the verbs is learning and to swim. Both are verbs, right? But is learning is a finite verb because it will change according to the subject. Now, if I change he to a plural subject, for example, they, then it's going to be they are learning. Now, to swim remains the same. It remains unchanged. So, I will write N for non-finite verb. Or let me write NF. Okay, children? Now let's go on to the second one. Gardening is a good hobby. Now gardening at the first go appears to us as ing form of the verb. So let us underline this. Okay. And is of course definitely is a verb. Now gardening is a good hobby. Here gardening is acting as name of an activity. So here it is acting as a gerund or it is acting as a noun. So verb in the ing form acting as a noun, it becomes a non-finite verb and is here is playing the role of the main verb or the finite verb. Let's move on to the next sentence. I need a book to read. Now need here is a verb and to read is also a verb, right? I had already told you that a verb preceded by to is an infinitive, right? Now here need is a finite verb because it will change according to the change in subject. For example, if I change I to she, it will become she needs. So whether it is I or she, need will change, but to read will remain the same. How? I need a book to read and she needs a book to read. So to read has remained unchanged. So it is a non-finite verb. The next sentence, you are swimming to cool yourself. Now, of course, are swimming is the main verb. Yes, because it is indicating the tense. Now, if I change the subject you to I, then what will change? Are swimming will change to am swimming. It's going to become I am swimming. So here definitely it's a finite verb, right? And which is the non-finite verb? To cool is the non-finite verb because a verb preceded by to becomes non-finite or infinitive. It is infinitive kind of non-finite verb. Then the last sentence, smoking has damaged his lungs. Now smoking appears to be a verb. I will underline it. Then has damaged again is a verb. Smoking here is actually name of an activity. It is an activity which has damaged his lungs. So smoking here is acting as a noun. So it becomes a non-finite verb. Yes. And has changed, has damaged. It is present perfect. Since it is indicating the tense, it is a finite verb. I hope this exercise has helped you recollect finite and non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs are of three types: infinitives, gerunds, and participles. Now, what are infinitives? Infinitives are root form of the verbs preceded by to. And when we remove this to before the root form of the verb, they form their infinitives. We will study all these three in detail. So these are few sentences and each sentence has an error. So let us pick out the errors. I like dance. This is incorrect. So how to correct it? We will add to here. I like to dance. Then he agreed give me the note. So he agreed to give me the note. We have to add here to. When we add to, then it is correct. The girl went there to played cricket. Now the girl went there to is always preceded by root form of the verb. So we have to strike off ed here, right? So the correct sentence will be the girl went there to play cricket. She wanted to donate her fortune. She wanted to donated is wrong. It has to be only donate, because again to plus root form of the verb. To is always followed by root form of the verb. I told you in the previous slide also. And infinitive is to plus root form of the verb. So she wanted to donate her fortune. He needs take the lectures seriously. So he needs to take, when we add to here, the sentence becomes correct. So these were the errors. Okay. Now by adding to, if you observe, I have added to before root form of the verb dance, before root form of the verb give, before root form of the verb play, before root form of the verb donate, and before root form of the verb take. So that means these are called as infinitives. So first type of non-finite verbs are infinitives. Let's study more about them. Infinitives use the base form of the verb with or without to. So they do not change form with person or number and do not show tense because they are non-finite verbs, right? Infinitives are most commonly used with or without to function as a noun in a sentence. And the answer to the question, for what? He came here to discuss the matter. He came here for what? To discuss the matter. So to discuss is the infinitive here. He wanted to paint her portrait. He wanted what? To paint her portrait. So to paint is an infinitive acting as a noun here. In these examples, to discuss and to paint are infinitives. The verbs came and wanted are the main verbs that indicate the action in the sentence. Why came and wanted are considered here or playing the role of the finite verb or the main verb? Because they will change according to the change in the subject, the number and person of the subject. These main verbs change according to, or these main verbs change to agree with the subject and person and show tense. That is why they are called as main verbs. Infinitives with to are mostly used after the main verbs in a sentence. Now children, mark this word mostly, not always. For example, she agreed to stay at her aunt's house. Now agreed is the main verb and it is immediately followed by the infinitive to stay. Here the infinitive to stay is used after the main verb agreed. But it is not the case always. That means an infinitive can come at the beginning of the sentence, like in this one. To paint is not a hobby of all. Now to paint is an infinitive. It is coming at the beginning of the sentence and it is also acting as the subject of the sentence. Subject of the verb is. Infinitives can also come at the end of the sentence also. So here the infinitive to paint is used before the main verb is. An infinitive can appear at the beginning, the middle, or the end of the sentence. Example, I like to read. I like what? To read. So to read here is coming at the end. So they can come at the beginning, the middle, or at the end of the sentence. Some verbs like enjoy, finish, avoid, dislike, and admit are not normally followed by an infinitive. Please make a note, children. There are a few things that we have to learn by heart, and that is verbs like enjoy, finish, avoid, dislike, and admit. They are not followed by an infinitive. Okay, but yes, you will sometimes realize that while talking to someone we tend to use, because we are not aware of these rules. So once you are thorough with the rules, you will use these rules even while you are speaking to someone. Now the example of this is I enjoy talking to my friends. So enjoy will be followed by talking and not I enjoy to talk to my friends. But normally you will hear people talking like this. I dislike accepting the fact that I hate cookies. And if we say I dislike to accept, the fact that I hate cookies will be wrong, will be incorrect. Bare infinitives are infinitives without to. They are also called as zero infinitives. These infinitives are used after modal verbs such as can, could, may, might, shall, should, etc. And there are many other modals also. You'll understand it with this example. She can sing and dance. Now can is a modal and sing is a bare infinitive. The next example, I might go to the mall near your house. Might is a modal verb and go is a bare infinitive. Now why sing and go are bare infinitive? Because even if we change she, which is the third person singular pronoun, to if we change its number or the person, sing will remain the same. For example, if I change she to I, it will be I can sing and dance. If I change it to they can sing and dance. Then if I change I subject here, if I replace I with she and might with may, then also go will remain the same. She may go to the mall near your house. Here the bare infinitive sing and go can't be changed with person, number and doesn't show tense. That is why bare infinitives are also non-finite verbs. Bare infinitive is also used after the helping verbs do, does, and did, and for what to form negative and interrogative sentences. Like, do you watch cartoons? So, do is a helping verb, and watch is a bare infinitive. Does she like fries? We should not say, does she too like fries? So, does is a helping verb, and like is a bare infinitive. They do not entertain strangers. So do is a helping verb, not is a negative word which we have to use in negative sentences, and entertain is the bare infinitive. She does not know her. Does is the helping verb, not is the negative word, and no is the bare infinitive. To before the infinitive is omitted when it is used after then and after but when the word but means except. She can better dance than sing. So here than will be preceded by a bare infinitive. We cannot use and we should avoid using to after than. The child did nothing but cry. But here means except. The child did nothing except cry. So we cannot use to here between but and cry. The bare infinitives are also used after the verbs of perception see, hear, watch, know, and feel. For example, he saw her take away his bag. We cannot use to before it. We cannot say he saw her to take away his bag because take is a bare infinitive which does not change with number, person, and also is not used to show the tense. The next example, she felt something soft touch her hands. We cannot say and we should not say she felt something soft to touch her hands. Touch here is the bare infinitive because it does not change with number, person, and doesn't show tense also. Children, this brings us to the end of video part 2 of finite and non-finite verbs. And I'm sure that by the end of this video, the concept of infinitives and bare infinitives and how bare infinitives are different than infinitives and where do we have to use bare infinitives and what is the position of infinitives in a sentence, all these concepts are clear, and please do take off some time to solve the exercises in the grammar textbook. Thank you.